Still have Lori here. Should I, yeah.
Welcome, everyone. We're going to give everyone just a minute to join, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, Christina, it looks like the numbers are kind of slowing in terms of people coming in. Are you good to go ahead and get started on your end?
Yes, let's do it.
Perfect. Well, welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming to our webinar today. We're really excited to have you here. We'll start off with some quick intros on our side. So my name is Emily Callender. I am the VP Digital Media Leader here out of Merge Denver. I've been with Merge Denver for about 7.5 years, formerly Blue Moon Digital, and have been in the digital advertising space for quite some time now. And when you want to look at Merge, we can help you with any, kind of more of the campaign performance, things of that nature. I'm going to hand it over to Christine from SongCandy. She is more on the production side of things and can explain to you guys a little bit more what you would use SongCandy for.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Emily. So, hey, everyone. I'm excited to be here today. I'm Christine Hunt, co-founder of SongCandy. We're a community marketing agency, and we help brands really drive connection with their audience in 3 different areas. So one is through custom audio. The second is through TikTok content production and strategy. And then the third is the metaverse, any sort of metaverse activations, NFT launches, etc. So I've been in the business over 14 years, got my start on the agency side, working across some pretty amazing brands, Ticketmaster, Live Nation, PetSmart, Clorox, Autodesk, and Balsam Hill. I later transitioned to Sephora, managing their digital marketing, and then lastly over to Elf. And that's really where I learned the value of TikTok. So I led the charge on the #EyesLipsFace campaign on the brand side at Elf. That campaign was the first of its kind to really go into market with a custom original song for a hashtag challenge. And we made headlines with that. Back in 2019, this was a really risky move, but taught me the power of original audio in TikTok marketing. Since then, I've been very bullish on TikTok. That campaign ended up hitting Spotify's Viral 50. It garnered over 6 billion views, garnered over 5 million video creations on the UGC side, and then went on to win 7 different awards. So excited to continue exploring TikTok. Cool. And then today we've got a pretty fun agenda for you guys. So first, we're going to explore what TikTok means for brands in this new entertainment era. And then next, we're going to take you through a TikTok first approach to content creation in this platform. Then we're going to go into how to evaluate TikTok, and then go into how to build a case for investing into TikTok that your exec team can't ignore.
Great. And then as you guys have questions through this, just put them in the Q&A and we can make sure to answer them at the end. But with that, we will kick it off.
Let's rock. All right. So what does TikTok mean for brands? So TikTok is an entertainment platform. So say goodbye to TV and streaming as you know it. TikTok is the new entertainment. So we have a quote here from Scott Galloway that I love, and it says, "We've been watching the streaming wars for the past few years, but we were looking in the wrong place. Video-based social media was the Trojan horse." To add to that, the currency is not monthly subscribers or cable packages, but rather attention, our youth attention. And as Scott also says, if data is the new crude oil, then algorithms are the refineries and signals that make that oil so much lighter and sweeter and more valuable. So speaking to that, so when we take short form content, we get a wealth of signals. To put some numbers behind that, we have in this chart here, you can see that TikTok versus other social platforms has about 10 times 10 more signals versus the 6 that we see with other platforms like social media platforms or even CTV. So on a per session basis, TikTok has an average session that lasts about 11 minutes per session. And so if the average TikTok video is 25 seconds, that means that in each session, we're going to yield about 26 episodes per session. That has a ton of micro signals, averaging about 110 engagements for that same 11-minute session. So this is rich, rich data that really makes this platform and this algorithm unlike any other we've seen before. So in fact, TikTok boasts that they have about a 5.86 engagement rate, and that's across all industries globally. But compare that to the same view for Instagram at 0.83%. That's huge. So TikTok likes to consider itself closer to a Netflix than any other social media platform. And we can see this in watch time as they're already cutting into Netflix watch time. So when we see Netflix, we've got about 9.6 trillion minutes watched. And then when we look at TikTok, we're seeing 22.6 trillion minutes. This is insane. So we used to think that giving users choice was powerful. And that's sort of the Netflix model, right? However, we're finding that in a world where we're bombarded by constant digital information daily at a rapid speed, choice becomes taxing. So how many of you in this audience, like me, take about 15 minutes to browse through all the different options in the streaming platforms, only to get bored and decide there's nothing on? That's my user case sample size of 1. So with TikTok, it offers its users discovery, entertainment, and exploration without them ever having to type in a query. This means that more and more users are turning into TikTok and spending a lot of hours on that platform. Based on a 2022 study, the average global TikTok user spends about 52 minutes a day in TikTok. It's about 26 hours a month and 2.3 years of their life in TikTok. I'm a little embarrassed to say that I spend more. And so not only is this audience watching, they're actually participating, which is huge. Participation is key on this platform. So 55% of users create their own videos on the platform. 91% of them take some form of action following the content they see on the platform. And then 40% of Gen Zers are using TikTok and Instagram to search instead of Google. And that's according to Google's own data. So TikTok's unique entertainment approach is really about a value exchange. Rather than using marketing as a tool of persuasion or mass messaging, it can be so much more effective when it adds value to the user experience and enhances rather than interrupts that experience. So this new form of approach to marketing is called community marketing, and community marketing is what SongCandy does best. It offers both short and long-term benefits. In the short term, you can see that you gain more followers and more visits and more purchases. But in the long game, you're gaining loyalty, higher LTV, evangelism, and creating this ripple effect. These stats are provided here by Forrester, who recently did a study on this approach to value exchange marketing. So TLDR, what does this all mean for brands? It means that businesses are really moving from being viewed as a commodity, meaning they're viewed in terms of just being compared to their competitors on a price point basis, to becoming future-proof brands. So ultimately, this is a brand growth strategy. All right, so now that we've explored TikTok as an entertainment platform, how do we really create content for this new form of social? All of that's going to start with thinking like a creator. So content is evolving. We're all familiar with the term UGC, user-generated content. However, that's evolving to the next level too. And it's turning into something called CGE, community-generated entertainment. And in true TikTok spirit, we've got a quick TikTok video to show you the way.
Is your content dull and not engaging? Not a lot of conversions, huh? Well, you need to
add a little bit of spice.
community-generated entertainment. CGE. What's that, Darren? Great question. It's content that entertains and gets the community involved. CGE makes you want to participate. Which sounds tough since everyone has the attention span of a fly. CGE, it's what gets people to stop, drop, and roll into those comments. Hilarious. Now that's what we call engagement, which leads people to share your content and make stitches and maybe a duet, which is great because ultimately people are investing time in your brand. And that's what we all want. And trust me, all brands of all sizes can be involved. If you want brand loyalty, this is the easiest way to do it. Because on TikTok, CGE builds your community. Thank you, that's all my time.
Hopefully that was helpful. So the next part in creating content for this type of platform is we have to think about why are users coming to this platform? What is their mindset? And then we have to make sure that we are giving them exactly what they're seeking when they're coming to this platform. So really they're coming to TikTok for 4 different reasons. First is to be entertained. So 75% of users come to TikTok to laugh, smile, and be entertained. And then our recommendation here is to really think about, joining in on trends, being playful as a brand, let your hair down, show your brand's personality, ask yourself, what's your brand's sense of humor as you're creating content? And then what could be your brand's entertainment value? Next, people are coming to participate. So as I said earlier, 55% of TikTokers create TikTok videos. So it's really a platform where people are excited to join in. So when you're thinking about content creation in this form, think about how to create content that is something they can engage with, something they can co-create with. Similar to the video we just watched, talking about, asking people to do duets or stitches with your content. It could also be something like a branded effect or a hashtag challenge that really helps you get that scale in terms of engagement. Next, people are coming to TikTok wanting to be uplifted. So 59% of them come to be uplifted, and 60% of them say that they feel some sense of community when they're on TikTok. So our content recommendation here is cultivate a community by being authentically yourself, and then find those painfully relatable moments and then lean in. I like to say it's similar to kind of creating meme-like content. Memes are powerful because they are excellent at identifying those painfully relatable moments. And think about that. Those are the things that are, at least in a lot of different friends groups, the most shared form of communication. And then lastly, people are coming to be inspired and to find out more about things on TikTok. So 68% of users are coming here to find out more about a product that they've seen or a brand that they've heard of. In addition to that, we have the hashtag learn on TikTok, which has over 350 billion views. That's billion with a B. So huge. Our recommendation here is just teach them how your product solves a problem rather than telling them. Teach them something relevant about your brand industry. Show them a little peek behind the curtain of your business. Getting them involved is really what gets people excited on TikTok. All right. And then next, our last recommendation for thinking like a creator and creating content on TikTok would be to be a part of the community. So don't just show up when you have something to sell, just show up as a community member and have fun with it. So we've got a quick little example that we'll show you. Set up for this is the video on the left. This is Elise Meyer. She is a content creator on TikTok. She does a bunch of funny short stories. She also does these songs that she writes. Now, with one of her songs, she said, "Hey guys, please help me. This is totally out of my genre, but I'm tired of having these songs just die in my notes section. Can someone please put music behind it and make it a full song?" So being that Song Candy, one of our purpose pillars, is really helping to drive connection through custom audio, we thought this was a perfect way for us to join in and play with the community. So we'll play a little bit of Elisa's song, and then we'll show you how Song Candy amped that up.
You lie about me to all your friends. You like to say I'm obsessed. Meanwhile, you drunk down my phone in the middle of the night when you're all alone. And you drove me crazy, kept me close with a maybe when you really meant no. But you never say that because you wanted me close on here.
Hey, Elise, I'm Christine from Song Candy, and girl, we got you.
You lie about me to all your friends. You like to say I'm obsessed. Meanwhile, you drunk down my phone in the middle of the night when you're all alone. And you drove me crazy, kept me close with a maybe when you really meant no. But you never say that because you wanted me close on you.
Hopefully that gives you a little taste of it.
Great. So jumping into having more of a paid presence on TikTok and still building upon that organic presence, I just want to talk a little bit about how to manage it and evaluate a presence when looking at a paid TikTok effort. So I'd like to start off by sharing some stats that showcase and further emphasize that the audience on TikTok is actively looking to be inspired by brands and creators in various aspects of their lives. So users are between 1.5 to 2% times more likely, 1.5 to 2 times more likely to look for inspiration on things like fashion and beauty and decor and even travel when they're on the platform. And even when looking outside of a direct on-site or in-store purchase, consumers are looking to this platform for information from things like financial services all the way to healthcare. And a recent study found that 71% of TikTok users in Europe found content relating to financial services on the platform to be creative and speak to them in an entertaining way, meaning that users were actually entertained and engaged with an ad served to them by financial services. So even brands out there that are in a vertical that may think that TikTok isn't for them, it's time to really reevaluate that perspective because users are here and looking for you to speak to them. So one important area that I do like to highlight is TikTok's ease of access to content creators on the platform. I'll get into some ideas on the creative mix in the coming slides, but we'd be remiss if we didn't specifically call out the ability to tap into key players in the creator world directly through the TikTok interface. And while I think most of us have a fundamental understanding of the importance of creators, I do want to highlight how users on TikTok respond to the individuals who are highlighting products and brands in this way. So users find creators as a trusted voice and they leverage them as a new word of mouth marketing. So they inspire them for their new interest in a brand or service, from purchasing habits all the way to picking up a gig as a food delivery driver. And I'm not kidding on that. One of the top performing ads currently on TikTok is showing users why they should become Grubhub delivery drivers. And this is also an always growing environment. So people are leveraging other creators to encourage their own ability to start posting their own experiences with brands and services. So to sum it up, creators' voices are a trusted and authentic voice on the platform. Other users feel as though they can follow the guidance of a creator while on the app. And with the native look and feel of the content, it can be a big win for your business. So talking a little bit about that creative mix and knowing that people are looking for entertaining ads and content while on the platform, I think it's a good idea to look at a few different ways to do this with some examples of currently top performing ads. To build off of what Christine mentioned earlier, feel free to let your hair down and have a little bit more fun than what you're used to with your ads here. If it doesn't work, be nimble and pivot. But there are some really easy ways to still engage your audience without it feeling too forced. So I have 3 examples I'll play for you. And I wanted to start off with the first example from Axe. So it's simplistic. It features a product with some design features to it. And even if you're thinking, we don't have a lot of video, this is a top performer and it's not a true video. So you can keep it simple and still have a win. And the second example from Tropical Cafe, you'll see that this was not a high production shoot. They had fun with it and they were able to see success while likely filming on a phone. So I'm personally not sure about a smoothie. I'm probably leaning more towards the quesadilla, but still the emphasis here is that they didn't spend a lot of time or money behind this, and they're able to have fun and engaging ads with the goal of getting people to make an order. The last example I have on here is a creator style ad for Ondo.
If you still haven't tried Ondo, you're missing out. These are the low-cut no-show socks. All Ondo socks have the silicone feature that guarantees no slip. I love wearing these with my flats and loafers. And these ones are the organic cotton ones that goes with any shoes. You're not going to buy other brands once you've tried Ondo.
So here you can see how this 15-second clip is able to get information on about a product and highlight why people would enjoy owning these themselves. It's very simple, quick, and easy. So I'll leave the slide with a strong encouragement to test and play with different creatives at different portions of the funnel. And don't overthink it. People want to hear authentic voices, so have fun with it and keep testing to see what you can accomplish. So looking at the audience on TikTok, it's not shocking to see that the biggest audience here is the 18 to 34-year-old range, skewing slightly more towards a female-based audience. So what does this mean for your brand? It's likely that a core demographic of people that you're hoping to make loyalist are engaged in using TikTok. And as Christine was mentioning, they're not only using it, they're spending a lot of time here. So when diving a little bit further into these audiences, they're also coming to the app to find new brands and see what may be the latest and greatest. So I think it's interesting to hone in on that first stat here, that users are here and they're making impulse purchasing decisions while on the app. And millennials and Gen X audiences also have discovered new brands while using the app. So this really reinforces the need to get your brand on here. People are in a discovery mindset as they navigate content on TikTok. So when it comes to the targeting options available within the business manager, I would say that it's a rapidly evolving space. So while TikTok initially started off with more of a limited targeting options, they're continuing to build here as their audience is growing. So custom audiences with lookalike capabilities are actively available, along with demographic overlays that typically, demographic and device overlays that typically hone in on specific segments after some initial targeting has already been laid out. And what I'm seeing change a lot in the space today is more in the interest and behavioral segments. So this targets users' interests and behaviors as they're expressing it specifically on the app. And I love looking at it that way because people are really going into rabbit holes of what they're finding interesting. And it's really giving those behavioral cues for us to be able to target off of. So right now, I know they aren't over the top in depth. They're pretty generic and broad at the moment, but they're continuing to offer more and more options within all verticals for targeting opportunities. So things like household income targeting and in-market segments are on the horizon for targeting in the future for TikTok. Some of those are in alpha and beta right now. And third-party segments are currently, if you're talking about like the oracles of the world, they're currently not allowed within the app. But with some of the moves that we've been seeing from TikTok recently, I would keep an eye on this because it might not be too far off in the future. So when looking at creative types aligned with targeting for the different portions of the funnel, it's important to know that this is really a test and play environment. So we have some general guidance of what we typically would recommend at the different areas of the funnel, with different creative styles and how to best align them with those audiences. But as you see that your audience is engaging and reacting and responding to different styles of creative, it's very, very important to be nimble and open to shifts along the way. So how do you evaluate performance on TikTok? So I, of course, want to start off with a quote published by the one and only TikTok. So trends on TikTok drive and inspire action. Our community has made stars out of musicians, but about big wins for brands. And it's why we say it starts on TikTok. And what I want to emphasize here, it starts with TikTok. So remember, while things may blow up on TikTok, you are really looking at this as an opportunity to get in front of new eyes and find a prospective new audience. So we're talking about building from awareness. And I think that's really important to highlight. So keep in mind, a last touch view is of performance on a primarily awareness driving channel is going to limit the view and sell short the opportunity that the platform may actually be contributing to the ultimate goal of your business. So I think we all know how user journeys are different in helping you achieve a campaign goal. So I kind of like to give the example of my dad. My dad is on Instagram. And when he gets on Instagram, he has his days of the week. He gets on Instagram. And when he gets on there and he gets an ad that seems relevant to him, he screenshots it and he takes his phone to his desktop, and he, from there, will research the brand direct on his desktop. That path looks so different from my path. I click on the ad in my app and I buy it right there, or I research whatever I'm being served an ad about right then and there on the app. So we know that this might look different for different users. So be mindful of that when you're looking at how things are performing, because last touch could sell it short. So especially in TikTok, it is not linear and it looks more like a loop here, because in particular with this app, you're seeing a lot of community engagement that's helping amplify your ads as they're out in the space. So as much as you can push for your branded message, it's also important to make it relevant for the community and help them complete your loop. So I know I have a lot of conversations with clients about being mindful of how the brand is being portrayed, and absolutely we want to help support that. But this is also a really good space to have a little bit more fun with it, so that you can see how the community can really help amplify, the voice that you're putting out there. So how to think about your success. I really recommend a 360-degree view. Again, looking at it from a single point is going to limit your perception of the success of the campaign. So I have a 1-year-old son, and what I think about here is if I just looked at the last touch for the very hungry caterpillar, and you'd see that the caterpillar woke up one morning and then he became a butterfly. You wouldn't see the path of the delicious things he had to eat and the cocoon he had to rest in to become that beautiful butterfly. And frankly, I really think we'd be disappointing the kids if we told them the last touch story. So think about it as a story. What are the things that are happening to get you to the end of your tail? Are people engaging with your ad? What are they doing once they visit your website? How long are they engaging with your video? Is there anything you can take from that? A lot of these analytics you're seeing on the right are what would be available to you within your efforts. So what's happening at that moment that you're seeing the most engagement? Are you seeing growth in your organic following? Is there any secondary action that they're taking? Are they sharing things? Are they visiting your site? If you're talking about an e-com effort, use the pixel, see what data you can get from it. Are users adding things to their cart? Are you seeing any down funnel conversions that may not be happening immediately? So really look at it from all angles, and especially look at it from that community engagement standpoint as well. That way you're really seeing the holistic view of how your ads are performing on TikTok.
Excellent. So now for creating a case that for investing in TikTok that your exec team can't ignore. So there are 7 different reasons we're going to take you through in terms of building your case. But reason number 1 is TikTok helps brands cultivate community. Now, TikTok has this ripple effect that we've talked about. So TikTok users are twice as likely as users on other social platforms to recommend a product or service that they've discovered on TikTok. Just like Emily was talking about, you're not always going to see that one-to-one click through on a last touch basis, but we do know that TikTok has this powerful ripple effect with the community. Furthermore, why should we really be thinking about community? We know that investors are already thinking about community. So according to a 2019 study by First Round Capital, 80% of tech founders believe community is the new competitive moat. So a brand's ability to cultivate community will soon become what sets them apart from their competitors. But why is that? It's because the importance of community for brands really resides in lasting relationships. It resides in social proof, in creating that ripple effect, as brand evangelists, and creating a competitive distinction that's going to recession-proof your brand, which is really top of mind for a lot of businesses right now. Second, so TikTok's home to some generations with tremendous buying power. Millennials currently sit at a collective buying power of $65 billion. Gen Z currently at $100 billion, and that's estimated to reach $143 billion. So that number should make brands who are trying to reach this younger demographic really stand up and take note. what we're already seeing in TikTok is how it's changing consumer behavior. So people are searching on TikTok instead of searching on Google. It's really become this go-to destination. In fact, like in December of 2021, TikTok surpassed Google as the most trafficked domain on the internet. So this is something that really requires a first mover advantage. We encourage early adopters here and encourage you guys to continue to try to build a relationship with the audience here. Third, so TikTok is on a fast trajectory to surpass other marketing juggernauts. So when we're taking a look at TikTok versus some of the other platforms that you're familiar with, it's not exactly where Instagram is yet in terms of that tracking ability or conversion power, but it's quickly getting there and becoming table stakes for marketers. So I just shared about how it's already overtaken Google in terms of most popular web domain. They've already surpassed YouTube in terms of watch time. They're already cutting into Netflix in terms of watch time, and they're estimated to surpass YouTube in terms of ad revenue in 2024 when they reach over $11 billion in ad sales. And then TikTok content has staying power. So at Song Candy, we like to talk about creating very sticky content that stays with you. And that's why we love TikTok and we love the power of sound. So taking a look at TikTok, when we look at TikTok in-feed ads versus other video ads on other platforms, you're seeing a 20% lift in memory on TikTok ads versus traditional TV, and a 13% lift on TikTok versus other digital video forms. But what happens when you actually take a look at things a little bit later after the campaign runs? So we've got a study where it shows both aided and unaided brand awareness is higher in TikTok content versus other video content, even 3 weeks after the campaign. And then lastly, again, talking about that power of sound, TikTok is really, has made a name for itself because it uses sound as a storytelling tool. And now creatives have this back in their toolkit. So when we take a look at memory during a certain creative, we see that memory actually spikes when you have something like a big crescendo, when you have a beat drop. So these things really contribute to the stickiness of the content. So knowing that that content's going to stay with your audience longer, that makes your dollar go farther. And then next is the unparalleled reach that you can achieve in TikTok. So we're taking a look at benchmarks that we received for CPMs and CPCs across TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. This graph that you're seeing is us just saying, let's take, if you had your budget and it was an arbitrary $50,000 and you're evaluating, okay, which platform do I put my $50,000 in if I wanted to go all in? So looking at the green bars, this is the reach that you could get based on those CPMs. The black squares, that's the traffic level that you can get based on those CPCs. So when we're taking a look at that, we see that TikTok is actually driving the highest amount of reach and clicks in combination together. So you're getting really the best of both worlds here. And it's we think that this is a trend that is going to continue. And this is why we're advising that people start learning early, start playing around in here and testing things out so that you can build your own case studies. And then number 6, 5x the engagement is a huge number. So engagement is another way of thinking about it, is it's your audience raising their hand and saying, I want to learn more. I'm interested. So we want to pay attention to those people. We want to keep giving them what they want. We want to keep those relationships up. When we take a look at TikTok, we're seeing that from a brand post perspective, we know that brand posts aren't going to compete with the level of engagement of, let's say, influencer posts. So we've broken this up. On the left hand, that chart that you're seeing is engagement by a brand post. So in 2021, we're seeing that TikTok has over a 5% engagement rate, whereas Instagram's struggling to hit, it's just under 1%. Now this is global and this is for all industries. So that might make things a little bit different for you guys depending on what your industry is, but still we're seeing that 5x consistency both on brand posts and on influencers. So when we look at influencer posts, and that's the graph on the right hand side that you're looking at, we're looking at TikTok versus Instagram and YouTube, and how the engagement rate is for influencers. We're still seeing that huge gap. TikTok's that bright green dotted line at the top, and Instagram is the blue, whereas YouTube is the red. So we can see that there is this huge disparity there. People are wanting to participate and wanting to engage on this platform. This is why we highly recommend that you start investing here. And then lastly is the shelf clearing capability that TikTok has. So I'm sure we've all seen in the headlines that we've also seen the hashtag TikTok made me buy it, where TikTok has this shelf clearing capability. All of a sudden products have this knack of going viral in the community. And that's because TikTok is seen within the community that's on there as this word of mouth marketing. People fall in love with products. They fall in love with brands. Even established brands have an opportunity to go viral here. So it's a really exciting time to be on TikTok. But that's, this is kind of one of the things where I say it ladders up to common sense attribution. So we know that the last click is not represented well when we're looking at things like TikTok or social media in general, usually. But we know that it's common sense. We know that when we're on TikTok, we're reaching our audience, they're already there. We know that TikTok has this power of clearing those shelves, of selling those products. So you might not see that from a last click perspective, but common sense attribution tells you that that's where you should be. Cool. All right. And next, we're just going to open it up to some questions from the audience. I see that we already have a couple of questions, and we can start kind of going through those. And Emily and I will divvy that up. Thank you so much for asking questions.
Cool. So the first question that we have is, what's the best way to get started on TikTok? Big brand awareness campaign or organic channel first?
Yeah, I'm happy to take that. So when you're getting started on TikTok, this is it's really sort of choose your own path, but I would say there's benefits, there's pros and cons to each side. So if you're going to do, if you have the budget to do a big awareness campaign first, I'd highly recommend that. That sort of launches your brand into the community. Think of it as your coming out party into the community, and gets people buzzing and talking about you. You can then take all of those people that you've touched with that big brand awareness campaign and retarget them later in your performance media, really bringing them down the funnel. We've also seen with some clients that start out with a big awareness campaign first, that they do see lower CPMs in their consideration and conversion focused campaigns later compared to those who weren't able to start out that way. Now, not everyone has the luxury of starting out with a big brand awareness campaign. So I would say for those who don't, that's totally okay too. We've seen some brands build incredible communities just with their organic content. But then that again goes back to, are you going to be able to think like a creator? Are you going to be able to create those relatable moments? Are you going to be able to kind of take the handcuffs off and have some fun with that content and give people a reason to watch? If you are, then I think that you are going to be really set up for success with your organic channel.
Cool. Great. And the next one is, how do I convince my executive team to loosen the handcuffs and let us try more entertaining and humorous content? I know that, and I can let Christine jump in too, but I know for us, this is always kind of a point of contention that can really come up when discussing TikTok strategies with brands. And I think the best way to kind of relinquish that sometimes is probably view it more in a test and play environment. Maybe let's take that branded message that your executive team wants to have a little bit more out front and test it against something that might be a little bit more entertaining and humorous, and try to let the numbers really tell that story of what's engaging the community more. So I know sometimes that can be a little bit challenging when having those conversations internally. So the more you can support with performance and data, I really think that sometimes really helps just kind of push the ship in the direction that it needs to go.
Totally. Yeah. I think the only thing I'd add to that is, absolutely 100% agree with Emily, like definitely set it aside as a small test. One thing we've seen brands do is, especially when I was at ELF, we started taking a look at how our audience was speaking and started mirroring that language. And some of that, was really playful. Some of that was really fun. And so by bringing their personality into our marketing, it felt more authentic to our brand because it was us then talking to our community and entertaining them rather than us kind of coming up with an arbitrary idea of what we think our sense of humor should be. So start taking a look at your audience data and just comb through those comments. They are gold.
Cool. And then what percentage of a paid marketing budget would you recommend dedicating to TikTok? I will say taking it as a flat percentage is probably a little bit tough off the gate, not knowing what the total marketing budget would be. I think for us here at Merge, we always encourage, having enough to fund a sufficient test. And so we typically don't recommend going into this if you don't have, at least for your paid efforts, like $10,000 or higher to really put behind it. The reasoning behind that is because you do need to have enough dollars to have a couple of different targeting options and run a couple of different strategies so that you can pick up of what's working. And I would say 10K is probably even a little bit short to really, and those are monthly budgets to get the full impact of those dollars. But we're always trying to be cognizant of where dollars are coming from and knowing that they might be tight. So, that's a conversation that looking at your total marketing budget, we can really kind of help you define, what percentage of that is important for kind of more that test and play. Cool. Next question is, do you have to have a business account to partner and collaborate with influencers? So they've actually somewhat recently put a little bit more stringent rules and regulations around being able to go through their content creator platform. And so typically you do need to have a business presence and you need to actually go through and fill out quite a bit of information about your own business to be able to go through and negotiate and work with different content creators. So, when you go in there, you do have to set up some information about your own business to be able to use that platform to its fullest. Cool. Cool. Virality is hard to manufacture. Any advice on how to set your campaign up and give it a best chance of virality on TikTok? I don't know, Christine.
Yeah, I'm happy to jump in there. And I would say virality is that's definitely the marketer's nirvana when we can hit that. But I would say don't go in with the mindset of that is your objective, that is your KPI, right? That is secondary. That is a byproduct of you having a super solid campaign where all of a sudden maybe people feel that it's really true or it has a sound that they absolutely love. What you should go in thinking about is how do I create for my audience? Is this going to resonate with them? Does this feel true? And make sure that it's very authentic to the brand. I think once you do have something like that and you have a product that's put forward really well, those are the makings of virality. In terms of virality for just how do I make sure that my marketing campaign is going to get the maximum amount of reach, think about, what are the different levers that you have within your marketing toolkit that can amplify outside of TikTok. So TikTok, as Emily said earlier, TikTok likes to say it starts on TikTok, but really to get that added reach, to create that surround sound, you want to make sure that it's going outside of TikTok. So think about, what is your go-to-market strategy? A lot of times we find that people are creating a TikTok campaign and really it's just the marketing team that knows about it. And that's not really going to be set up for success if you're looking for that maximum amount of reach. You want to get your internal team excited about it, your cross-functional partners excited about it, involved in it, talk about it in your internal meetings, create a challenge at work in terms of trying to get more people to either share it or create content for it. Have a lunch party, and then also think about, okay, how can I promote this in Instagram? How can I promote it in Spotify? For example, if you have a custom song, that's something where, if we're working together, we could have that uploaded to Spotify. You could then have your organic social team post that through stories and maybe do a little behind the music kind of piece. So it's really thinking about how do you tell this story with all of your paid, earned, and owned channels so that you can amplify to maximum reach.
The next one, probably Christine, for you as well. How does sound affect a message? Do you have stats on response levels with and without the music?
Yeah, so we have a ton of research about sound. So usually we like to say that sound creates this billboard in the mind that really stays with you. So sound is 5 times more memorable than visuals. That's not to say that you should have just a sound on campaign without visuals. It's really about bringing the best of both worlds together. So using sound to really enhance that storytelling so that it does give you that 5x increase on what your creative would have been without that. And happy to send out some information after this with the merge team just on some other sound stats that we have.
Next is, what KPIs would you recommend focusing on for a paid campaign on TikTok? I know I gave a whole bunch for you in the presentation, but I think when you're starting off, I would really look at it from more of that awareness and engagement point of view, to what Christine was talking about towards the end there, like who are we reaching? How far is our reach going? How are people really engaging with this content? I would really start from there and then build upon that. So I really think I got, when I was first dabbling into the world of, programmatic marketing, someone gave the analogy of cast a wide net and then shrink it in from there. And I really kind of think of this similarly with TikTok. So what are those KPIs more at that awareness layer of, how are people really starting to respond and look at your ads, and how big is your reach and engagement on that, and build from there.
Yeah, totally agree with that.
Cool. And then we did get a question on where are you finding the stats breaking down the percent of users and their ages. So a lot of this information was dug from a bunch of different sources. So we have a direct relationship with TikTok where we could pull some of that information from, as well as things like eMarketer and things of that nature. So both Christine and I did a bunch of digging to get all of the stats that are in here, and they are sourced within the presentation themselves. So hopefully that's helpful if you're trying to sell the case for what kind of audience is on the platform. Cool. The next one, with trending audio and music being so important on TikTok, how can brands source audio for TikToks? Can brands just use any trending sounds that they want?
So great. So I could take this one, Emily. So in terms of sourcing audio for TikTok, you definitely have to be careful, because there's a lot of trending audio that could put you at risk for copyright infringement. And so this is something that, Song Candy, we work with the TikTok's music team often on just making sure that everything is safe and worry-free. So one way to go about that is custom audio. So if we were working together, we could create custom sounds. We've done that for campaigns. And then we've also got a new beta that's actually launching at the end of this month, where it's subscription-based, and you'll have access to a full audio gallery of curated sound effects, all done by Song Candy, and would be licensed to your brand as long as you are subscribed. In addition to that, because this is really like that piece could be used in combination with TikTok's commercial music library. So the commercial music library is free for brands and businesses. It's approved for your use. Take a look at that. There are a bunch of different sounds in there that you can use in your content.
One of the last questions on here, I think we have some in the chat as well, is should I change to a business account? I heard they limit sounds and original sounds compared to a normal account. What are benefits? I think just generally that is a world that over the past, I would say 12 to 18 months has been cracked down on more in general of, as Christine was mentioning, like the copyright infringement and things of that nature. So especially in the paid world, yes, I would be very cautious with that and lean on areas that are more of those like safe bets, like the audio library and things of that nature. The benefit to having an ad account on here is that you really I would say that when you're looking at the long-term view, you're able to really build upon performance and start, making a more holistic campaign and media plan within TikTok itself. So I would say if you are putting paid dollars there, I would strongly encourage it to go through an ad account, just because you're going to get more of that long-term story and long tail story that you can start building upon there. So I would strongly encourage anyone who's putting a paid effort there to start to, set up that ad account and start building from there.
Totally. I think, and then TikTok also gives you tools by having that ad account and business account. So if you're like myself, you're still very sad and getting over the fact that TikTok deprecated the discovery tab in the app, where you used to see all the trending hashtags and trending videos and sounds, and even, you know, banners for any sort of businesses who are doing a hashtag challenge. But now they do have a tool in their creative center, but you have to have a business account to access it. And that will show you trending hashtags. You can even sort by industry, trending sounds, and top TikTok videos.
Cool. The question in the chat is, what about turning on original audio, the 30,000 audio? Can brands use it, or is considered copyright audio?
Yeah, so if it's part of, it'll say it's part of the commercial music library. So if it's part of the commercial music library, then you can use it. But if it's just part of the general music library that you see in TikTok when you're in the app, then your brand should stay away from it, or at least confirm with your TikTok rep that this is brand safe.
Yeah, I can't emphasize that enough. I really do see more and more, guardrails around audio and copyright infringement across.
Oh, I see. The follow-up is not general music library, but audio from other users. So that's a really good question. So I'd say this is in a little bit of the gray area. So TikTok has, at least let our team know that their best practice is reach out to that creator if it's that creator's original audio, just to make sure you have permission to use it. And some creators, just depending on, maybe they have decided to start licensing it out, they might ask you for some compensation for that. So if in doubt, just ask.
Great, I think so. Those are all the questions that we had. Unless there's any other ones that go into the Q&A or the chat, I think we can wrap it up and give people 9 minutes back.
Love that. All right. Thank you so much for having us. Thank you so much for your time. We know it's a lot of time to take out of your day. This was super fun. If you have any other follow-up questions, we'll be sending out material after this, and you'll be able to reach out to Merge if you're interested in any sort of performance marketing questions. Also reach out to Song Candy for TikTok content production and strategy. And we look forward to hearing from you guys.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. We all appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.